Should the New Orleans Saints target Super Bowl champion Cooper Kupp? Ladies and gentlemen, the backdrop, T-Bob, Jacob Hester off the bench. The question posed to you is a simple one. Should the Saints sign Cooper Kupp? Should Cooper Kupp be one of the starting wide receivers for the New Orleans Saints? Now, when this question was first posed to me, the answer seemed pretty obvious. The answer to that, in my mind, is no. I don't think it makes any sense for the Saints to get Cooper Kupp. And we're going to talk about that today, and we'll hear what T-Bob and Jacob Hester have to say. That rhymed. I think Cooper Kupp is a good example. Cooper Kupp and Joey Bosa are kind of like the same player to me, where at their peak, insane level player. But their peak was a few years ago. And if you haven't really been paying attention to the Rams or to the sidelines of the Chargers where Joey Bosa mostly stays, then you probably wouldn't realize that they've been pretty bad. And they've been hurt. And they've been injured. And if I asked you, before I show you anything, if I asked you, is Cooper Kupp good? Is Joey Bosa good? Are they good players? Are they elite players? Are they number one guys? You would probably say yes. You'd probably say, hell yeah, Cooper Kupp lit us up. Yeah, I remember when the Cooper Kupp destroyed the Saints, or Cooper Kupp was the offensive player of the year, or Cooper Kupp, I remember the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp's awesome. He has cool hair. Hair hangs in front of his eyes. It's awesome. But when you dig into it, it's like, well, actually, maybe he hasn't been very good. I don't think Cooper Kupp has been very good. And I don't think Joey Bosa has been very good either.
Sexy smoke in the street. It's the first thing that I would describe as, like, the Justin Reed move was very good, right? It's solid. It's a very solid move, yeah. But it's not one that's going to, like, people love big names at skill positions that score points.
Yeah.
And a player that would match all of those parameters is Cooper Kupp. And the Los Angeles Rams just kicked Cooper Kupp to the curb. Now, Grady's had a little bit of injury problems, but it's not really that. They just, in classic Los Angeles fashion, got a sexy new younger girlfriend in Puka Nakua. And like, sorry, Koopa, we got Koopa.
Yeah.
Or Puka.
I mean, it's close. You're there.
Sorry,
There's
Koopa, we got Puka.
There you go. Well done.
And it's funny because Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, Jake, you've seen a trend this offseason where guys are prioritizing, look, we don't need a ton of length in our deal, but what we want is for basically the entire thing to be guaranteed.
Right.
Cooper was right before this started happening.
Yeah.
So he has the incredible year, Triple Crown winner, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP, and he gets the big deal. However, that big deal, it's all fake. Only guaranteed 5 of the 20-something million he was due this year. I think it was 29. It's supposed to be 27 next year. Wasn't guaranteed anything on that. So what did the Rams do? They ripped it up. I know. Freaking sad. Classic Los Angeles BS. Agent shenanigans. Yeah. Younger girlfriend. I hope karma bites the Rams in the ass. It's a Super Bowl MVP who desperately wanted to stay with you. And you
talk about what have you done for me lately, right? Like, Super Bowl MVP. Key face in that locker room, key face of the franchise. See ya.
Just kicked into the curb.
Yeah, and I don't want to get off on this tangent, but that's what makes the NFLPA so trash is the fact that, like, Grayson Allen for the Suns is going to make every bit that he signed for, and Cooper Kupp's not going to get what he signed for after everything that you just laid out there. And we all know NFL way up here, NBA way down here.
Yeah.
And like, this is a star player.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you see the C on his chest with the 4 stars. This man's been a captain that many times, and he's going to get a third of what he actually signed for. When every other sport, as soon as you sign it, that's fully guaranteed. You don't even have to.
Fully guaranteed. I mean, it's a different video for a different day, but fully guaranteed, I think is a problem. I think it should be flipped, where the NBA shouldn't be looked at as good; it should be looked at as bad. I think fully guaranteed contracts are bad. Okay, let's get into this first. So, Cooper Kupp. This is from Warren Sharp. Cooper Kupp's rank and ability to get open. So, open rate 2021, 15th out of 160. 2022, 71st out of 150. 2023, 102 out of 153. Last year, 141 out of 159. He's not even 20 spots higher than me. Okay? I'd be 160. You can do the math. Okay? So he has been drastically decreasing his production. Let's take a look at his career. 2021, we all know the year. 1947, 16 touchdowns, Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP. Then he plays 9 games, gets hurt, 812 yards. Then he plays 12 games, 737 yards. Then he plays 11 games, or starts in 11 games, for 710 yards. All right? Only has gone over 1,000 yards twice in his career. Helps that one of them is one of the greatest seasons of wide receivers ever put together. Okay, so we can see there a marked decrease in availability and success. We go to Pro Football Focus, look at some premium stats. This is his weekly grades from last year. These are his season grades. You can see down here. So again, the 92.3 in 2021, and then it decreased to 80, then 74, then 77, then 78. You do have to the grades get wonky when you play a small amount of games, so keep that in mind. You can see the weekly grades from last year. One game over 80, it's an 80.4, where he had 5 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. If you go to a little bit more of the advanced analytics, you can see things like yards after the catch. You can see unrealized air yards. You can see, I was looking at his efficiency. So you've got yards per route run, he's 30th. Yards per target, 81st. Yards per reception, 92nd. True catch rate, 59th. Let's see here. Efficiency, so target separation, he is 57th. Target premium, he is 62nd. Dominator rating, explosive rating, 32nd. Drops, contested catch rate, he's 76th. Let's see here. What else we got? You can see zone versus man, win rate versus man, 70th. So you can go and check all that out, of course. But he also is 6'2", he's listed at. I think he's closer to 6'1", but we'll give him 6'2". 6'2", I don't know if he's 6'2". That might not be fair. Is he listed at 6'2" everywhere? 6'2", all right. I thought he was 6'1". 6'2", 200 pounds. We know what kind of player he is. He is 31 years old, born June 15th. Do you think he fits with the New Orleans Saints? I would say no. Because I think the Saints need, what they need right now is a big-bodied wide receiver. They need something different than Olave. I feel like Cooper Kupp is pretty similar to Olave in a lot of ways. I just don't know if he gels physically with what the Saints want to do. And if you told me Cooper Kupp was on the New Orleans Saints, I would think, okay, I mean, you got a guy he's like a crafty veteran. Okay, you need a first down, he can get you there. High reward, I guess. Like if he stays healthy, okay. But from what I'm hearing, he wants $13 million, like $14 million. That ain't it. All right. If he said, I'll play for 5, I'll play for 6, okay, sure. Take the risk, take the gamble. But $14 million for a 31-year-old, that doesn't work. All right. Now, a lot of people may say, well, maybe Kellen Moore can scheme him open. The scheme, brother. If Sean McVay can't scheme him open, if Sean McVay can't get anything out of him, nobody can.
To fight or argue for it.
Yeah.
That's what, it's one of the things I hate about it. I mean, I get the roster size. Injuries miss me with that. I mean, Tommy John in baseball, we've got knee injuries, hamstring injuries all over the place in the NBA. Injuries are throughout sports.
Yeah.
You need to guarantee these contracts, but anyways.
Well, and it is starting to naturally happen a bit.
Yeah,
look at the contracts
for the bigger
offseason.
players. And so
yes.
look, my hope is in 10 years, that's just across the board.
Yeah. It's starting to move that direction, but unfortunately Cooper's right before. So he ends up getting cut. And now he's on the open market. And don't get it twisted, it's going to be a very competitive market for Cooper Kupp. But we're not just saying this as local guys. The New Orleans Saints, from multiple national sources, the New Orleans Saints are thought to be one of the top teams in terms of courting Kupp and trying to employ him for his services. And I think this would be awesome. Regardless of what Cooper Kupp is, at what is he, age 31 now? I believe, perhaps, or is it 29? What?
31, 32.
I think he's 30. I think I read
He's
31
31.
this
He'll
morning.
be 32 when the season starts.
So
yeah.
32-year-old, maybe.
Yeah, he's got a birthday, like I said, June. So
He's on the downside of his career. He's still the best guy when he walks in on the Saints position group. I mean,
he's the biggest name. Like, again, they kind of made my point of he is a big name, but he's a 32-year-old demanding $13, $14, $15 million. Probably it's going to be higher if it's a competitive market. If they have multiple teams suited, you have to get into a bidding war. So let's just call it $15 million. He's a 32-year-old wide receiver whose production has slipped drastically to the numbers that we just looked at, where last year, open rate, one of the worst 20 receivers in the NFL, demanding a high amount of money on a team that is organically rebuilding, getting younger, and trying to trim contracts. This doesn't add up to me at all. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm making this video. There's a little bit of transparency here from the face of the franchise. I'm making this video amongst some pretty serious rumblings of the Saints being, aggressive, I guess you could say, in courting Cooper Kupp. I'm going to put this video out when it's done. There is a chance that when you're watching this video, Cooper Kupp could have already signed with the Saints or somebody else. But I am that confident in my assessment that I'm willing to put this out and not wait for the actual deal to be done.
Cedric Wilson, Dante Pettis, Rashid Shaheed, and Chris Olave, who, to make a bit of a gallows humor joke, is one Billy Bob concussion away from never playing football again.
I was going to make the same joke, so
yeah.
I mean, that's factual. Like it's something that's real.
Yeah. So what is a better remedy for your volatile situation with your number one wide receiver? What's a better remedy than getting a 32-year-old receiver who cannot stay on the field?
He's had a lot in a little time span. So you're right. I mean, you bring Cooper Kupp in there, even at 32 years old, if Chris Olave is not fully healthy. Now, if he's fully healthy, Olave 1, Cooper Kupp 2. But with the injuries, too, not just the concussions that Chris Olave's had, Rashid Shaheed's one of those people that is so fast, it's hard to keep healthy. Yeah. He's so athletic, it's hard to keep healthy. Do you really want to chance another year of Pettis being in there?
Kevin White? Is it Kevin
Mason
White?
Tipton? My God, if I had to hear about Mason Tipton in training camp one more time.
He was really good in training.
Okay. I mean, name a play that he had in the regular season when there's regular defensive backs out there.
He caught a ball on the sideline one time that I was like, ooh, look at that.
Okay.
That was a good catch.
Was that from Rattler? Because if it is, I know the play you're talking about.
I think so. Yeah, because it would have been later in the year.
Yeah, good play.
It was a good play.
Well, the fact that y'all both remember the play he made.
Because I think that's the only one.
Peyton
So
Turner.
you need to protect yourself. Like if you bring in somebody like this, and I know he's had his own injury history. I do understand that part of it. But you got to stack receivers. We talked about it in the draft.
This part here, agreed. You do need to boost your wide receiver room. You'd absolutely need to bring in wide receivers. And there is something called the NFL draft. Now, I'll present two options to you, ladies and gentlemen. Option number one, you can bring in a 32-year-old wide receiver for $15 million. Injury-riddled 32-year-old wide receiver for $15 million. Or you can draft a wide receiver on a rookie contract. What would you rather do? Pretty easy, right? You do not have to land Cooper Kupp. You do not have to overpay and get in a bidding war for Cooper Kupp in order to bolster your wide receiver room or in order to give you a security blanket. You can do that in a million different other ways. Cooper Kupp isn't it. He is a fun name. He is a popular name. And he is a splashy... I'm glad they mentioned Justin Reed, because Justin Reed is exactly the kind of contract and the kind of player that the Saints should be bringing in. Chase Young is exactly the kind of contract, the kind of player the Saints should be extending and keeping on the roster. But they aren't getting any positive praise by anybody except me at all, because it's Justin Reed, right? This Cooper Kupp deal is a disaster, but is going to get applauded because he's Cooper Kupp. And people remember the Super Bowl. And people remember the Offensive Player of the Year. People remember all of that. Cooper Kupp and Michael Thomas are the same age. Like, kind of the same situation. Where, huge year, Offensive Player of the Year, unreal. And then falling apart. Michael Thomas was obviously way worse, missed a lot more time. And then obviously the toxic stuff or whatever. But that's the same like age trajectory we're talking about here. So why get in front of this? Why get in front of this decline and overpay for Cooper Kupp?
That's with Tedero and McMillan yesterday. Like, you have to add to that room, because as much as we throw shade at Derek Carr, whoever the quarterback is of the New Orleans Saints has to have better weapons.
Yeah.
So you've already tied yourself to the tight end room. Talked about that yesterday with Jawan Johnson's new contract.
Yeah.
You got to add a body, like a capable one that can be a game changer. You can't go into this season with a Chris Olave that if he has another concussion, what does that actually do for his career? And a Rashid Shaheed that's been really good when he's played, but he's just been injured, because we've seen that guy. We have seen the track star, fast guy and the hamstrings and the small muscle stuff and he's had even greater injuries than that. You got to protect yourself a little bit more. So I'm all for bringing in a veteran receiver, and I'm also okay drafting a receiver early in this draft too.
And I agree. Like, yes, yes. Let's be clear about that. I think the ideal plan is not, oh, Cooper Kupp, you're good now. No, right. It's you get the older vet guy, and then you try to inject, whether it's at 9 if Jindy gets taken or whatever, or that at 40. I think you do both, because you need that much help there. The one disappointing piece of news, Marquez Valdes-Scantling signed with the...
All right, so we covered that. So we're not going to recover the MVS thing. But if Cooper Kupp was cheaper, fine. But the fact that he's looking for relatively big money, I just don't know. I mean, I would have to really see the deal. If it was like, if it's like 3 years, $15 million, and there's some weird roster restructuring where he gets 10 of it up front. I mean, if there's like some weird finagling where it ends up being a relatively cheap deal, okay, fine. But I would absolutely not do anything to danger the books, finances, any of that stuff for Cooper Kupp. If you get him on a mid deal, okay, because he's a mid player. But getting him and expecting him to be your number one, to be the guy, thinking he can turn back the clock, I think that's wishful thinking. So in a vacuum, I would say no to this. If it does end up happening, we'll take a look at the deal. We'll take a look at the contract. It could be positive. It could be beneficial. I have a hard time believing it would be because of the fact that it's going to be a bidding war. The fact that you're looking at, why would Cooper Kupp take the worst deal, right? So you would think wherever he goes is going to be the best deal. And in order for it to be the best deal, it's got to be pretty damn, pretty sweet. I don't think he's going to be, I don't think you're going to win this bidding war with a team-friendly deal. So we'll see. I'd be shocked. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it makes a lot of sense financially. I don't think it makes a lot of sense from just your style, like what you want to do. I don't know if Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Cooper Kupp is. I don't know if that's the receiver core that gels the best together. That'd be kind of weird, be kind of interesting, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.